so I could sit a little bit taller, maybe not seem so short, because really, truth be told, I'm stinking short. I really am. I'm very short. I mean, I'm not like, you know, well, I'm just short. Everybody else in my family's tall, and I didn't get that gene. Well, good morning to you, Miss Melissa. Is it Melissa or Dee Dee? Because you're looking like little sister today, which is fine. I love little sister. So you just go on. You go on and do that little sister thing. Hello, Colette. Good morning to you, lovely. Lisa Baker, good morning to you, sweetheart. Good morning. I'm so glad you're here. So glad you're here. You have been on my heart lately, Sheila. Or excuse me, Lisa. Sheila, good morning to you, sweetheart. Tina, good morning to you. All my family's in the house. I'm still trying to get used to sitting at my desk instead of sitting over there by the window. But, yeah, it's all right. It's all right. And I know you guys are getting used to the new style of feed. I was talking to, I think, Tina about that, and she said that it shows up like small with the captioning underneath instead of overlaid. I can see sometime I'll get on here and I'll just go live and play around and see if I can't do that. I don't know if I can or not. I don't know. And I know when you turn your phone sideways so you get full screen, then you don't get any comments. So I love your crystals. Colette went crystal shopping. Oh my God, she got a aventurine or origami pyramid. Beautiful, beautiful. There's Dee Dee. There's Dee Dee. I'm glad you're here, love. Erica Johnson's in the house. Good morning to you, sweetheart. I'm so glad you guys are here. I really am. You always make my day. You start me off right. Guess what I got today? Already. I mean, it is just now 15 minutes after 8 a.m. and I have a kitchen full of cabinets. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. My dreams are coming true as we speak. They're all over the place in the kitchen. I mean, I have a pathway to walk through because the guy when he delivered them, he said, "Are they all going in here?" And I said, yeah, this going there, and one beat all, and blah, blah, blah. And he said, but it's all going in here now. And I said, well, yeah, as far as I know, that's where it's going to go. And he said, okay, all right, it's going to be tight. And I said, I can live with tight. I don't know if I or not. I had to go fill a dog bowl up with water. And I skinny through this little narrow walkway. And then there's the trim boards. The trim boards are laying across, so I had to really do the limbo to go underneath those, hang a tight left to scoot into the bathroom to get water. I was like, oh Lord, I don't know if I can do this much longer. But Mark and Steve, my contractors, will be out today, so I'm really hoping that they can make some room for me somehow. He said, I was so excited when he called yesterday and said that they'll be delivering them this morning about 7:15. I said, man, I'm there. I'll be up. I'll be ready. Woo-hoo! Because since before Thanksgiving, I think it was the first week of November when they gutted my kitchen and fixed the floor because the floor had a funky dip in it. And it was the craziest thing the way it had to be fixed. But it got fixed, and that's what's really important. Anyway, yeah, so I've got a stove and a dishwasher, and thank God for the dishwasher. And I didn't have that for about 6 weeks. I just had my electric skillets and my folding tables and my kitchen tables and my blah, blah, blahs and my blah, blah, blahs. Good morning, Carl Perry. I'm here. Handsome man. So welcome to the world. Lots of love going out today. Lots of love to everybody. I'm so glad. It is hump day. I don't care if I got this much room to walk through, getting myself through. Oh, boy, I can't get to my refrigerator. Take out. Take out. Can't get to my refrigerator. That on me. I can't open it. Oh, well. We're live on YouTube, D-Live, and Facebook. And I'm going to keep going. I keep freezing up. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm going to keep trying. Maybe I'll take off YouTube and just stream on D Live and Facebook, and maybe that will help. Ah, thanks, Lisa. It is pretty unbelievable, isn't it? It's really, really, really unbelievable. I'm very, very happy with it. I was kind of thinking about it this morning, Julie Cole. Tip of the hat to you, love. I was thinking about it this morning. Most of my pictures are stored. And all of a sudden, I come across all these remodeling pictures, and I was like, oh my God, I don't even remember it looking like that. Wow, what a difference. What a difference. Proud to live here. So I have been so busy lately. I've been so busy. I was up until 12:30 last night, 1 o'clock in the morning, finishing up a grid. But I was listening on D Live, and I was listening to Chance Paladin last night, and he was reading some of his stories. He's a writer. I really like D Live. I really do. I'm starting to know more podcasters, and see what they do. There's a lot of gaming, but gaming category and go into the chat category. I even think there's a news category, and you'll find different podcasters that are still talking and still streaming and not worrying about being censored or shut down or shut up. As long as it's not hate speech. I'm standing on your platform using it to spew ugliness like yesterday. I have to apologize. I have to apologize to you for yesterday's show. New D Live friend. Oh, second job, Kitty. Oh, love to you, sweetheart. I'm glad you're here. Yesterday, on over here in my comments, where I can see YouTube, D Live, and Facebook comments all together. You on Facebook can only see Facebook comments. D Live can only see D Live comments, and so on. Somebody on D Live was not very nice to my mother yesterday. I'll just say that. And instead of hiding, I thought that I was like blocking, but I hit the wrong spot, and I overlaid that comment on my screen, and it was up there for a minute. I'm so sorry. that happened. I really am. It did not offend me in the least. I mean, I've been called worse. I don't like those words, but life happens, and that person obviously was just being ugly. So no worries on my part, but I apologize to you for me putting that up. I didn't mean to do that, obviously. I was just trying to delete it, and it just overlaid right there on the screen. I was like, holy crap, what am I doing? What am I doing here? So I did figure out the correct button, which was right next door to the wrong button. So I'll have to be sure get my directions right. You guys want to see what I've been working on? I've been doing grids. I've been making tea, and I actually sold my first official retail jar of tea yesterday. I was so happy. I was just, yay. And then I got a call later on that evening and asked for like a monthly supply. So that was beautiful. I love that. What else? What else happened yesterday? Oh, I don't know. Just working on grids mostly all day long after I got business taken care of. And I finished one grid, and I'm not sure. I like it. I understand it. So I've got the root chakra, the sacral chakra, and the solar plexus chakra, which I love the solar plexus chakra grid. Oh my God. These grids are so stinking amazingly powerful. Amazingly powerful. So I will show you what I've got done so far, but I'm going to show you in order. I think I showed the root chakra to you yesterday. But what I'll tell you what I'll do is I will explain how the energy works. And I still have to write all this stuff up yet. So this is the root chakra grid. And I wish I wish the color was better. So what we have down here is fool's gold. Fool's gold, gold. Fool's gold mimics real gold. So if you're trying to draw money, money draws money, right? You got to have money to make money. So what you use is fool's gold. If you're trying to increase your wealth, use fool's gold in your grids, because gold, fool's gold. Gold is created in the bowels of the earth. I mean, the very bottom, the depths, the very heart of the earth. And as it pushes up, pardon me, so sorry, as it pushes up through the layers of the earth, it goes to cooler, until it finally gets back up to the surface, which is the heart, which is us, up here. The finger's going here, the center. So we have fool's gold going into these two pieces on the bottom, because the bottom is the earth, pulling from the earth out to the top, right? And then from the heavens back to us. So, as above, so below. You got the very deepest part of the earth with the gold. Then you move up to, this is fire agate. So here and over here, these are fire agate. Just beautiful. Beautiful. Oh my God. Hold them up to the light, hit them just right with the light, and they just, so many colors pop. So it goes from the fire agate to these are called, my finger's right here, these are called fire topaz. They are white topaz or clear topaz with just this tip of red on them. So, and I have those up here also. So that brings in that fire element, but the topaz, the fire element in the topaz is a very sensual, seductive kind of passion. It is bringing like that creativity from the very center of the earth all the way up. And it's going through the layers, just like creativity. Whenever it begins with us, it begins in our heart. And then it just kind of blooms out until it finally gets up here. And then it really starts to grow. And then our passions grow right along with it. Well, that's what this grid is created for, all those root chakra passions. Earthy, 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 very heavy on the bottom, because it's drawing up all this energy. Here in the center, on the four corners, the north, south, east, and west corners, is a tiger's eye, or tiger's iron, excuse me. Heavier. It's a heavier stone elementally than tiger eye. So I've got tiger iron in the four corners going into a citrine. Citrine is a very cleansing stone. If you have a citrine druzy bed, for instance, that stone, that druzy bed, will cleanse every other stone in your arsenal, and you do not have to cleanse the citrine. The citrine is self-cleansing. Iron pyrite. Thank you, Judy Gold. Thank you. That's right. That's what fool's gold is. Iron pyrite. So it goes from that to another center stone. This one here, I believe, is iron pyrite, but I'm not sure. It's such an interesting stone, but it fit energetically. It just fit. So all of these stones, and then going from the fire topaz into smoky, into clear quartz, because if you understand how quartz grows, you have clear quartz, and then heat and pressure create from clear quartz to smoky to citrine to amethyst, and then on and on and on. Hang on, I gotta move this. Something popped up, blocked my comments. It is a neat stone, isn't it, Lisa? So the center stones, as I was saying, this represents the earthy part of the balance of the grid. This is all the below. Here in the cross is such a soft, I don't really know how to explain the energy, but it's so balanced right here going across. You have red, this is red jasper, this is amber, into citrine again, the citrine. The center circle, the center wheel is peridot. Now you can see the color. The center wheel is peridot. And peridot is the heart chakra, right? And so what you have is the deepest, most creative forces known to man And it begins from there, works its way up to us. We are the center. But it has to go through love. It softens as it comes up. It cools. And it sparks other fires. But it's more of a coal that's just a fire always burning here with the fire topaz and the smoky quartz. It goes up in here and has to pass through a barrier that is total love energy before it reaches us. At the same time, the energy that we put out is cleansed by love before it can pass through and go out into the world. The above part coming down, we have kunzite in the top two corners. We have sunstone, the energy of the sun. Such a love, love, love. Sunstone is so happy and so loving. And this is a Herkimer diamond. Mimics a diamond, the hardest substance known to man right now, at least natural substance. So the Herkimer goes from the citrine to the smoky to the Herkimer, clear quartz back into the center. So this is an unbelievably love-filled, energetically creative, grounding, and comforting grid. This is home grid. It's my home grid. So when you're creating your grids, you do have to understand, but you don't have to know them by heart. You just have to understand the heavier stones to the lighter stones, the above stones, which is the kunzite. Kunzite's a powerhouse for your crown chakra. I mean, it just beams that energy straight to source. And you gather that energy and it returns to you. I got to show you the root chakra, the sacral chakra. What do you guys think about that one before I move on? I got to know, what do you think about this grid? What do you think about it? I know I showed it off before. Hi, Sebastian. Isn't that, it really is so powerful. And I won't tell who I was talking to, but I was talking on the phone, and it was a personal conversation. And I've got my face, I mean, I'm working here because it takes just a dot of glue to connect these, to seal them down. And so I've got my face in all of this energy, and we're talking about personal home life problems. And oh my God, I was like, no, what your problem is you're hard-headed, see? You're not seeing the whole picture. And the reason why you're not seeing the whole picture is because you're hard-headed. And it was so funny because we carried on a conversation for a good hour. And when I finally set the very last stone, it just, I mean, seriously, I just felt this puff of energy, like it breathed life into itself. Just the flow of energy was amazing. And I took a deep breath and I sat back. I said, oh my God. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I just blasted you with the root chakra energy that was blasting me in the face. And I said, so you got to share in all of this beautiful root chakra energy. Oh my God. Oh, it came from the heart though, but it was just funny how strong that energy is. So now the sacral chakra, when we're talking about chakras, the root chakra is business. It's all business. It is your foundation, period. And you have to have that stable foundation in order to build, right? Anything from the root chakra up, if your root chakra is not in balance and you're not satisfied with where you are, your root chakra is not in balance. It's all about food, clothing, shelter. It's about your job. It's about being comfortable in your job, and the apartment you come home to, or the house that you come home to every night, is always going to be there, as is the family, safe and sound and fed and comfortable. It's food, it's clothing, shelter. It's the knowledge that Your bases are covered. Got that done. Now it's time to play. That's where the sacral chakra comes in. Sacral chakra is all about playtime. It's about celebrating. The root chakra is all about getting business taken care of so that you can go play. It's like your budget. You've got your bills to pay, you got your necessities that you got to take care of, and then you got your play money. And you can't wait till you get to the play money and see what you've got left, right? Or got to start with, because you can always build that. So that is, the sacral chakra is not only about passion in love and sex and sensuality. It's all of these watery, emotional, feely feels. It's reproduction. It's life. It is, good morning to you, Cindy. Good morning. Melissa, good morning to you, sweet lady. I'm glad you're in getting warm. Root chakra, sacral chakra is that joy and that zest for life, that celebration. My bases are covered. I'm ready to come out and play. It's the creative fire that builds on itself. The little spark that puffs into a flame. That's all about the sacral chakra. It's male and female, very male, very female, because it is about reproduction and new beginnings and creativity. It's about celebrating life's joy. Doesn't have to be ecstasy, and it can be all of those things in anything that you put your passion into. All of your passions coming from that sacral chakra. And so this is the sacral chakra grid. And to me, it looks like a shield, and that's exactly what I said. Is this a shield? Because I lay the stones out and then I ask my guides, I just swing the pendulum over them. And so, and the tourmaline, which is what the shield is created from, all of these are tourmaline crystals. She was very specific. I'm working with Yoshashan on these. And she was very, very specific that it can be any color of tourmaline, but they all had to be, they couldn't be the same color touching. It had to be a different color touching. So there's there's pink, green, white, there's blue, there's some really, really neat dark colors that look almost a purple. There's just some fabulous color in this shield. The shield to me also represents the feminine aspect, obviously. I don't have to describe it. But the shield represents not only that protection, because you got to feel comfortable when you're out playing, but it's also the feminine. And as you go to the center, you can see that the center stone is very masculine. It's masculine all the way around. It's very, very clear. It has, let me get over here, I'm sorry. It has this pocket of this cluster around the base of it. And this just reminded me of, obvious is the obvious, but these around the bottom that really drew me to the fact that this is a very, very fertile stone. This stone should be used in a fertility grid. But fertility does not necessarily mean sexual. It doesn't necessarily mean, gosh darn it, getting pregnant, sex. It doesn't necessarily mean that. It means that the creative flow, the yin and the yang, the balance, the chase and the yield. That's what that all represents. So what kind of stones have we got here? This is interesting. This is fossil coral. So it starts off in the water, interestingly enough, because when I pick my stones, seriously do them intuitively. And so it didn't even dawn on me that this fossil coral would begin at the earth point of my grid. And that the sacral, it's very, very connected with the sacral chakra because the sacral chakra is so watery. It goes to, what are you? I think that's amber. Pretty sure that's amber. Oh yeah, goes to amber. Amber is a transmutational stone. It's a stone of transmutation. There we go. Amber, being a stone of transmutation because its properties are both liquid and solid. And it's the time that it takes the liquid to become solid. So stones of transmutation like amber are fabulous for life-changing and life-giving and creative flow. Oh my God. Because you look at the amber is part of life. It's part of the lifeblood of the tree that it comes from. And as that sap runs down the outside of the tree and begins to harden over time, and the longer time takes, the harder it gets. And so it teaches us patience, but it also teaches us to respect time. And interestingly enough, to go along with that is the Oklahoma Hourglass, the selenite quartz, or the selenite stone that is on the mid corners. What else have we got here? These, and these match top and bottom. Oh, excuse me. This is not amber. This is fire opal. That's what that is. That is a fire opal because there's a softer fire opal at the north point. So we have fire opal. This is yellow sapphire on all corners. Yellow sapphire all the way around. This one, the grid matches all the way around. We have, no, excuse me, it does not. Top and bottom, side to side. Garnet. That is a lovely garnet, and you can't hit the flash on it because it's not there. It's just flat. Interesting too is the type of turquoise that was used in the wheel of the stone. If you notice, it's colored, is solid. The turquoise does not have a lot of veining in it, and that was very important to this grid. When you're looking at your stones, and it was the same thing with the yellow sapphire, it's very clear. There's very little other materials in the sapphire. What's the word I'm looking for? I don't know the word I'm looking for. Anyway, so the turquoise had to be clean. It couldn't be any. It also has natural emerald. These are emerald here. More sapphire. More, what is that? Fire opal. And then tanzanite is the center. And I don't know the energy of the tanzanite off the top of my head. I don't know the energy of it. I'll have to find out because it's very interesting how time is so important in the sacral chakra. And then, but then if you think about it, time is important to our sacral chakra because of gestation. When you're creating life, you have to allow the time for that life to develop. And I think maybe that is the lesson of that sacral chakra grid, is to balance out and to allow for the time that it takes. But it's still true about the amber. Amber being very, 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 very fluid. But I saved the best one for last. This grid is so beautiful. This is why I called you, Lisa. I didn't call her. I sent her a message because Lisa is, what kind of blue stone do I use? I use a literal dot of E6000. I use a literal dot. It does not take much. And I actually talk to my guides. I'm in Hobby Lobby. It's the most Christian store I know, except for the Christian bookstore, right? So here I am with my pendulum going, is it okay for me to use glue? Because I'm trying to think of how I'm going to attach it, right? And she's like, yeah, you can use glue. And so I said, can I use this glue? And she said, no, it won't work. And so I'm looking at this other jewelry glue, and she said, no, it's not going to work either. And I found the E6000. I said, what about this? And she was, yeah, I use that one. And so I got so clearly, going through my head, and she said, just a tiny dot. If you just use it sparingly, then it really is, it's negated by the energy of the crystal. If you blob your crystals in glue, if you cover them in acrylic, they are very, 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 very beautiful. But that acrylic makes the energy stop. Doesn't have the same type of energy flow. And that's all I'm saying. It's beautiful. That organite that Colette got with the aventurine in it, beautiful, beautiful. But the energy flow of the stone is not there because of the wall of plastic that it stops the flow. And so that was my biggest concern with the glue. And so she just recommended the E6000 and said tiny, tiny, tiny little bit. It's very good stuff. Very good. It's more of a very, very solid rubber cement than a very much not like a super glue. But I think it holds like a super glue. But it's very rubbery. It gets very tacky quickly. It comes in a large tube, and it comes in a pack. I think there are 4 of these smaller tubes. I really recommend the smaller tubes of E6000 in the packages, because the large tubes they'll clog up. They'll clog up. Even with this one, and I'm not moving slow. I mean, I'm taking my time and I'm doing it purposefully when I'm gluing. But I'm not like setting a stone and putting my glue down and getting up and going and getting some tea and coming back and doing another one and going and doing something else. And I had to continue to wipe the tip of the glue off. It dries pretty quickly. So it's good stuff. It's good stuff. Once you set your stone, it won't just pop off. Yeah. So, but like I said, use it sparingly though. Okay. This one I love. I mean, I don't understand it yet. And there's something about crystal grids. When I'm creating them, I understand that there's a story behind them. There's an energy flow to them. There is, there's always the center stone, and there's always the energy that flows out. It is not always as above, so below. It's not always in a shield. It's not always in a cross. The patterns really do create themselves, and the stones, I do it intuitively, and that's the best I can say on how I create these. But you really can feel the energy flowing from these stones. So this is solar plexus chakra. Like I said, sacral. Sorry. This is solar plexus. The solar plexus is the belly button. It's from your belly button to about, this part of your rib cage where everything comes together. I don't know, breastbone. So from the top of your belly button to your breastbone, that area is your solar plexus. And believe it or not, we think, you know how I talk about the way energy flows, like a river. Beautiful rivers of energy. Beautiful rivers of energy. And different chakras, you use different chakras to go into different flows of energy, different rivers of energy to pull that energy out. Whether if you're healing somebody, body, mind, spirit, 3 different things, 3 different energies. And so that's a for instance. I don't know where this is flowing to yet, but it takes my breath away. Are you ready? Pardon me. Pardon me. This is amazing. This is amazing. See if I can't just give you a straight on shot. This is an amazing grid. It's all about time. Obviously, there's a lot of hours on it, and cross time crystals in it too. A lot of cross Oklahoma hourglass. This one looks like a blob unfortunately, and I found another cross crystal after I glued one down, and it's not coming off. That's why I know how well this stuff works, because I knew if I tried to pull it off anymore, I was going to ruin the whole thing, and I do not want that. So this energy is very sunshine. Oh, that's what I was going to tell you. The solar plexus is the part of our energy field that pulls in the strongest. I don't know why, but aren't they, Charity? Thank you very much for that. I appreciate it. Those are Oklahoma Hourglass, which is selenite. The only place in the world they're found is in Oklahoma, and these are courtesy Lisa Baker. She gets all the credit for those. The little rock hound she is. So the energy of the universe, there's certain places on our planet Earth that is considered to be the belly button of the Earth. Well, if you think of the belly button, consider it the umbilical cord. The umbilical cord is what connects us to life when we're growing inside of our mother's womb. So the belly button would be the center of our bodies. That would be the very center of our bodies if we were a circle. So for when you are really pulling in energy, you get butterflies in your stomach. And that's because the umbilical cord, the crown chakra, we're connected directly plugged into source with that. But the umbilical cord is more like the umbilical cord to the all. I don't know how else to explain it. But that is where most of the source of our energy enters into our body, because it's the center of us. So there was that. Coming back with this now. Coming back with this. There's some amazing stinking energy in here. And this grid can be used for a lot of different purposes. I mean, this would be a fabulous grid to meditate with if you're into astral projection. I think this would be a very strong... I got to tell you about the stones in here, I guess. So we've got the Oklahoma Hourglass, the selenite, on the corners. It has pyrite on this side. Over here, there's a druzy garnet, and it is fabulous. It is fabulous. If you look at it under a loop, oh my God, it's got so many points to it. So many points. It's just a beautiful bed of garnet. This is the yellow sapphire. This is blue selenite. Not blue selenite, is that right? Yeah, no, yeah. I think that's right. Calcite, blue calcite. And then we went from blue calcite. We've got some beautiful, fabulous little deep purple amethyst. And that's another thing too, the color of the amethyst in everything. That ocean jasper. Oh, I love that ocean jasper that you got. It's so beautiful. Oh, well, thank you for sending her the link, Colette. Thank you for that. She's very sweet. I love her. Very sweet lady. Sunstone. Again, that sunny sunshine energy. This is the power right here. This little stone. You guys know what that is? You recognize that one? I know you do, Lisa Baker. That is a very impressive moldavite. Moldavite is the center of this grid. And I mean to tell you what, moldavite is an interesting stone. For one thing, it is extraterrestrial. It means it doesn't come from this world. It comes only in a specific region of Moldavia. And it's the only place in the world that it can be found. Now, geologists, scientists, it's hard to see. It is hard to see. You can't see the detail in it, but man, when you hold it up to the light, it is an incredible starburst in the center of it. It just bursts out. And that's interesting. That's an interesting description of it too, a starburst. And because Scientists, geologists the world over will tell you that the Moldavite is from a cometary impact that occurred, and it hit certain granules of sand that was in that area in Moldavia when it hit the ground and exploded. And that's what created those little spherules. And a spherules, I think, is how you would describe a Moldavite. But I was asking my guides about that, and they showed me totally different. They showed me a CME, where the sun got cold and formed a hard outer shell. You know, just briefly, the engine just kind of cooled down, and the sun went dark. And the reason that happened is the sunspots. The sunspots are not giant gaseous holes in the sun. They're cold spots on the sun, and they're kind of hard. It's kind of like a lava pit. You know, you see the magma, bright red cracks in this deep, darker red surface. Well, that deep, darker red surface is where it's cooling, and it's starting to harden up. Still hot, still pliable, but you're starting to form something there because it's cooling down. That's what they showed me that the sun did. And then when it exploded, when it finally, that engine kicked back on, it was like starting the furnace, you know, when the thermostat drops down, whoosh, all of a sudden the furnace kicks back on in the sun, and that energy just poof, popped off that outer shell. It just blew it off because it's, you know, and it hurled it in every direction. But the part of the earth that caught, because by the time when it blows out in a wave. And so, you know, by the time it reaches Earth, you know, there might just be fingers of waves of particles. We're not going to get covered with it. But that is what that is, that green glass. That's what my guides have shown me, that it's actually a part of the sun, not a cometary impact fragment. And it made complete sense to me because I had read not too long ago and not too long after my guides had shown me this whole story, the whole show showed me how Moldavite came to be. I read where on the moon they had brought back a lot of green glass sphericals. And it was only on one side of the moon, the side of the moon that faces the sun. But these particles, these little round green rocks, were everywhere. And if you look at that rock, if you look at a Moldavite, if you get a chance to hold it in your hand and hold it up to the light, what it looks like is a center with a burst outward. And that, to me, would be what it would look like if it was a liquid cooling down. It was as it was going through the air, through our atmosphere. So Moldavite is it's an expensive stone. That little Moldavite cost me $45. So you know that grid's going to cost more than $45. But you can't get Moldavite very easily anymore. And when you do find it, it is terribly expensive. But when you hold it in your hand and you look at it, and it's supposed to be very, very strong astral projection. I had it wire wrapped and I wore it for a little while, but the energy was so strong that it made me feel heavy. For one thing, I just felt heavy. Like I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to move. But it also made me flighty. You know, my energy was heavy. I was here. But I was also, I was just erratic and kind of headachy. And so I finally took that Moldavite off. I asked my guides, is this what's bothering me? And they're like, yeah. And I asked, you've been wearing it for 4 days now. What do you expect? Got the energy of the sun hanging around your neck. What do you expect? So anyway, I really do love that grid. I am not sure how easily it's going to be to leave this house. I don't know. I might have to do another yellow painting. That one might have to stick around. We'll see. We'll see. So tell me about you guys. What time is it? It is almost 9 o'clock in the morning, and I've been yamming for a solid 45 minutes without taking a breath. I was on Rex Bear's show one time, Leak Project. There was a lot of flooding going on, and this one particular area from Omaha, Nebraska to St. Joseph, Missouri was just wiped out. And so I drove up north. My husband and I drove up north to take some pictures and some video and just kind of see what's going on, because by now all the flood had receded except for this area. I wanted to know why. So we got up to north of St. Joseph, Missouri. It's kind of in the country, a lot of farmland up there. And the river had spilled its banks, and it was out, and there was like lake from here, from the highway to the river. And so we were driving around taking pictures and going down roads that are blocked by the water, so you couldn't go any farther. So pretty quick the sheriff showed up, wanted to know what we were up to. And so I told him I just wanted to see, and maybe, I'll put it on my podcast. We could talk about it, because I wanted people to know, it's still going on, and it's still really bad. And he said, "Bob, this will never go away." He said, this won't ever. He said, "These people, these towns that are underwater will be underwater." And I asked him why. He said, "There's nowhere for the water to go." When the railroad, and I'm not sure, I really wish I knew the name, the railroad line that owned the tracks that did this to these people. But from Omaha, Nebraska to St. Joseph, Missouri, they elevated the railroad tracks because of the river, because of the flooding problem. We live in the flatlands. There might be some hills around, but it's still flatland. And so they built these pretty much, what do you call them, dikes? Is that what you call them? They pretty much built a levee going to St. Joseph and put a railroad track on top of it. As you know, a levee is created as a wall of dirt, water. And so basically they took the natural flow of the land that would have allowed that river water to drain and turned it into a giant bowl, and the water had nowhere to go. And when I was talking to the sheriff, standing just off the highway on an outer road, looking at this town that was underwater, I said, "Where's the river from here?" And he said, "The river?" And I said, "Yeah, the actual river. Where is it? How far over is it?" He said, "It's 5 miles west." 5 miles. Those people's lands, their towns, their cemeteries got flooded and turned into a lake. And that's what's kicking my butt, because I happened to check recently, because it didn't used to be a lake. I decided to check a map and just see what it looked like. And guess what? All along I-35, north from St. Joe to Des Moines, not to Des Moines, but to Omaha, Nebraska. Omaha, Nebraska, not Des Moines, Iowa. From St. Joe to Omaha. When you start in Nebraska, funny enough, it doesn't go into Kansas or Missouri, because that's the Missouri River. It divides Kansas and Missouri, so it cuts right through, right? And the funniest thing on this map, they obviously the Kansas-Missouri state line from Nebraska. Yeah. And these people did not get any kind of reparations for it. They didn't qualify for FEMA. And they went through their savings, and they lost everything that they had. Literally everything they had. They couldn't even go back by boat into that town to retrieve any of their belongings. And I think the water is still there. I think they just of town. Anyway, I took that story onto Rex Bear's program, and I don't know why I was telling that. I don't know why I was telling you that I took that story on Rex's program. It was the wrong person, though. He was the wrong guy. Hell of a nice guy. He really is. Hell of a nice guy. He's got a great reach, great audience. But he was the wrong guy for the topic. He was the wrong guy for the topic. I should have went somewhere else, like to maybe Tyler with Secure Team or something before he got kicked off the earth. Colette said if it's 50... Sorry about it. It's 50 degrees Fahrenheit. It's been sunny. Just had a heavy shower, and it was sunny at the same time. It was like April showers. I always knew, or I always been told, that if the sun is shining when it rains today, it will bring the rain back again tomorrow. So, cheers to that thought. So I've given you crystal grid history, information, taught you how to make I don't know what else. Saw a commercial last night, and I got these cabinet guys that came in this morning, and they didn't leave until right like 8 o'clock. They were packing up, so that's why I was a little bit late this morning. I wasn't able to find this commercial, but I'm going to find it, and I'm going to post it on Facebook. Lisa, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. I'll talk about that in just a second. I'll tell some people about that because that's one of the coolest things. So, God dog it, I lost my whole train of thought. I mean, it's gone. Take a commercial. I think it was called Nemo. Or Amino or something like that. It was odd. But do you remember? I don't know if you've read or even know about Agenda 2030, but Agenda 2030 is put out by the WHO, and it's a true thing. They really do want to reach this agenda by 2030. And in 2030, we won't have to worry about paying taxes on the things that we own because there will be no private ownership. You won't own a house. In this commercial, they're talking about showing us how we're going to live in 2030, less than 10 years away, less than 9 years. And what I'm seeing in my area, interestingly enough, I noticed it right away on Metcalf in Overland Park, Kansas. It's a suburb of Kansas City. Overland Park has a pretty darn busy street. I mean, it used to be known as not the Miracle Mile. That's on the Missouri side, but car lots on one end of like Shawnee Mission Parkway, and then Metcalf was all these little eclectic shops and tons of fast food now. But Metcalf is the busy street. 95th and Metcalf was always the busiest intersection in the world. So what they're doing is they tore down an old mall called Metcalf South Shopping Center. They tore that all down, and they rebuilt this new commerce center, which is businesses on the bottom 2 or 3 floors, and then apartments above that. And so that was, I think, the first time that I had seen something like that and recognized it. And I said, well, that's kind of different. That's interesting. That's a cool concept. And then I noticed that all along Metcalf, not just at this new commerce center that they tore down and rebuilt, all along Metcalf, every new building, every building that they tore down, every old auto dealership that they just replaced with some kind of a building where the apartment is literally on the street. I mean, it is, you do your little parking. I'm sure they have their own parking garages, but you park and you go in, you do your shopping all along the street, or you can go to your apartment upstairs. Bonus time if you happen to live in the apartment that you will be working in. So that is the wave of the future. That is what they want. They being the whole world, everybody. the big guys, the ones who control what's going on. The agenda, not good at all. Not good at all. At least not for us, you know. But we are the dinosaurs now. You know, we're the grandparents. I'm the grandparent, anyway. In my generation, in my family, I'm the grandparent. There's only 2 or 3 elders left that's above me. And then it is my generation and we're the grandparents now. And so we are the dinosaurs. We are the ones that fumble with the computers who don't quite get it. Not them. So Agenda 2030 is perfect for them. It is. It is going to be what it is. And you can't stop it. This is change. This is what I have been understanding. Well, you know what, Colette? And they are like that. She says we already have that in the UK. Flats above shots, etc., have been like that for years and years. And this is true. But when I show you this commercial, you'll understand that that's not what they're talking about. They're talking about creating new cities. Creating new cities where everybody lives in the center of the city or in the apartments above the businesses down below. But it's going to be an all-incorporated city. That is their vision for 2030. That is their vision for the future, and that is what they're going to make happen. It's not the cute little flats. It's not the eclectic lofts that you can buy in the warehouse district. It's not those. No, that's way too much space. That's way too much space. Hell, they can turn that one loft into 3 apartments or more. So everything is going to be condensed. But I understand. I totally get the 5G. Because communicating with spirit, I do a lot of, I don't know if it's meditation or if it's plugging in. Don't know what it is. But I plug in and I ask a question. And then I have these crazy, crazy answers. And like the Moldavite, for instance. How has that come around? Well, let me show you. So I was asking about the 5G. Very concerned about that. And I got the whole daggone picture. I got the whole picture. I totally understand. If they're able, they want us to be no vehicles, no emission, no carbon footprint, carbon free by 2030. All electric cars, carbon free by 2050, 2050, all electric cars. 2030 is when the last petroleum-fueled vehicle, 2030 is when the last petroleum vehicle will be produced, or maybe 2029. They're not going to make gas-powered cars after this. So this is their future, and it is their future. And it's kind of exciting because in order to create, it's like the Shiva, you have to destroy in order to create new. And the 5G thing, now if we were all in communities, community towers, with the shopping underneath or the businesses underneath, and you're living in the same, hey, you never be late for work again. Just hop on an elevator. You don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to worry about driving and commuting and sharing expenses. Well, you know, Colette, you have a pretty cool little world that you live in. I can say that. Because in the world that I live in, progress is going on every day, whether you see it or not. Those little, when they were doing all the highway work and they were just putting new lines in the road every 7 feet or every 5 feet, those were cars, self-driving cars. They put over the city. They put them all over the highways in the United States. So they've been setting this up. They've been setting this up for years. Colette, you are hard-headed too. I got to say, you are hard-headed too. Because the Shiva is sent to destroy, to destroy so that rebuilding can take place. And in order for new growth to occur, death has to happen, period. They don't care about those historic buildings. What do bombs care about historic buildings? Seriously. If you want to create something new, you have to destroy what is standing in the way. And this will happen. It may not happen in your little village. I see 5G all around me in my little village. It's all around. I see it everywhere. I see it on the telephone poles. They don't have to have a special tower. So the 5G, it runs in a linear wave. You know, it's linear. But your 5G boxes, if you notice, there are boxes on poles, and they face in a circle all around this pole out. They are connecting directly on, face-to-face on, with another pole. And then that one is carrying that energy on that linear wave, but it's all in the same wavelength. If you wanted to create a grid so that you can run your electric cars, your drones, your Jetsons. Remember the Jetsons cartoon? And you had these cars, or even today, some movies like The Fifth Element, for instance, and you see layers of cars. This layer of car is going this way. This layer of vehicles and buses and taxi cabs are going this way. This one's going this way. If you want to go up, you have to go here, wait for the light, and then you go up or you go down to whatever layer you're going to reach next. That's what they're working on. That's what the 5G is going to give us, or give to them, since we're the dinosaurs. That's what our children will be able to do. I'm not saying 5G is good by any means, because I think that the energies that 5G put out is very, very dangerous. It's highly radioactive. It's beaming direct energy in this line. But I think it's going to be one of these things where they figure out how to shield the radiation, because they're going to have to be using those lines of energy to transport back and forth from one hub to the next. They've already got the technology. They're creating the hubs now for the vehicles down in Florida. The flying cars, they're creating the garages, the space for these flying cars right now. They're building spaceports, not airports, spaceports out west, Montana, Utah. Not sure where I heard. I think it was Utah. So the future is here. Whether we're living in our little villages or we're living in the city, in the new buildings that are being built, and we're working just downstairs so that we don't have to have a car anymore. We don't have to own this or own that. I'm going to find this commercial, and I will post it up, and you'll understand what I'm talking about. It's the first time I've seen this commercial. It's the first time I heard him say it out loud. I'll put it that way. First time I heard him say it out loud. I've heard the whispers. I've seen the rumors. I've seen the ideas. But to actually in your face, and I'm looking at my husband, and I'm like, are you hearing this? Do you see what this is? I remember back before the debit cards became the debit cards. It was MasterCard, Visa, or Master Charge and Visa and American Express Club. And then you had, you wanted them because you get discounts if you had a. And I love you too, Colette. Where was I at? Oh my goodness sakes. I totally lost it again. It's Wednesday. What the hell? Cheers to you. Have a drink. Totally lost my thought. Dee Dee says she has shungite all over her house. That is one of the best EMF blocking stones that you can get. And citrine also helps block the EMF. Microwaves. More the microwaves. The shungite is awesome. You have that, Crystal? You can drink shungite water, but the shungite that you drink has to be polished. It cannot be the raw shungite because shungite's very, very chalky, and it'll come off in your water. So make sure that if you drink shungite water, don't just go willy-nilly and buy some raw shungite to throw in your glass, because it'll be like drinking charcoal. You don't need that, I don't think. Oh my God, guys. Well, since I lost my total train of thought and I have no clue where it went to, no idea. It happens all the time with my keys in my purse, so I'm used to it. So I think I'm going to get off of here and let you guys go and enjoy your days, because it's a beautiful day. We're going to have a cold front come through North America and just blast us. Colette, I hope that you do not reap any of that benefit, because it's going to get stinking cold. Our Canadian friends, we're talking, I mean, it's an Arctic blast that is coming way down from the top of the world. So you guys stay bundled up, have extra food, have extra blankets, have an alternative heat source, just in case, because you never know what nature's going to bring us in the wintertime. When I talk about a bug out bag, I'm not just talking about end of the world crap. I'm talking about emergency bag, an emergency resource. And so think about all types of weather whenever you're putting together any kind of emergency bag, bug out bag, grab and go bag, whatever you want to call it. Think about what you need in case the lights go out in your house. If you don't get to bug out, but you have to bug in, think about those things too. Because the weather is unpredictable. It is. I love you guys so much. 14 below. That's the temperature, not the wind chill. That's what I'm talking about, Dee Dee. That is what I'm talking about. I love you guys so much. I truly do. Thank you so much for your love. Colette, you're a beautiful, shining heart, and I love you very much. Love you very much. Please don't ever be offended by anything I say. Please, please, please. Krista said, loves and kisses, everyone. I've been listening but multitasking with my 2-year-old's craft day. Weather's nasty outside. That's beautiful. Chat soon. Absolutely. Love you too, sweetheart. Have fun with that 2-year-old. She does a good job. She's a good mommy. You guys, take care of each other. Love each other. Go be joy. Once again, just whatever you can do to bring joy to somebody else, because as you are joy, joy becomes you. So go become joy. I love you guys. I'll see you tomorrow.